I heard they talking about there's aliens in the ocean. It's time for me to tell y'all my story. Let me tell y'all my story. So back in 2014, I was living in Kumasi, Ghana, but we took trips to Cape Coast, Ghana. Well, this particular time, I was the only one who wanted to go to Cape Coast with the grown folks. It was my professor and her two friends who came to visit. Now, here's the thing. Because I was the only younger person who wanted to go, I hung out by myself a lot, right? I didn't want to hang out with the elders. I love the elders, but I didn't want to be with them all day. I wanted to mix and mingle with the locals. I met a local guy who tried to take me to meet a mermaid. Let's talk about it. Now, it's important to understand that I've always been a spiritual girly, so I've always attracted a lot of spiritual people. So it wasn't unusual when the Rasta came to me, right? He's Ghanaian. He's also a Rasta. Yes, Rastas exist everywhere. So he had his freeform locks and all of that, and he comes to me, he's talking to me about spirituality, and we get into a lot of deep conversations, and it was beautiful. Sat down, ate together, we sat on the beach together and just talked. And no, he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. No, he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. No, he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. It was genuine, deep conversation and no type of like inappropriate advances. Just real like brotherhood, sisterhood type of vibes. So y'all, as we get deeper into the conversation and we're talking about our various spiritual experiences and our spiritual gifts, he's telling me a lot about the different interactions he's had with spiritual energies in Cape Coast. And for those of you who do not know the history of Cape Coast, do your Googles, but Cape Coast is where the castles are, and the castles are essentially the point of no return, right? So do your Google, do your research and all of that stuff, but we're in that area, right by Elmina, and all of the energy is there. The energy of our ancestors who were enslaved, who were stolen from the land is there. So he's telling me about all his experiences with that energy. Then the water starts picking up, right? Because it's getting later in the day. So naturally the tide starts rising, the water starts picking up, and we start talking about the energy of water. And then he's telling me about his friendship with the mermaid. Yeah. There's like a bunch of like rocks leading deep into the ocean. So he says at night he walks out to the rocks, right? He walks the rocks deep out in the ocean, and he points to one that's like way out there, and he's like, I like to sit on that one. And he's telling me how there's this mermaid who comes up and they communicate, right? Energetically, they communicate. She's not speaking English like, what's up, bro? But he's like, there's a spiritual communication. And any of my spiritual people who have spiritual gifts, you know what this is. He's talking about the energy that she has and how she is and all of that stuff. And he's talking about how essentially like she's sweet, she's kind, but she talks about how there are other ones who are not so nice. And he explains the reason why, you know, some of them carry different energies and different intentions. He's talking to me about offerings that he brings her and gives her. He's telling me what she looks like and all of this. And let's be clear, it's not what you see in Disney movies and all of that. His description of her is nothing like that. It's very much like her energy is beautiful, but I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much. Just know her energy is beautiful, but she looks like a creature under the water. And the thing that he told me that made me not go back there with him is she was not born there. She became. She was an offering, and she became. Now, 1 + 1 = 2. And because 1 + 1 = 2, he asked me if I wanted to meet her. Now, at this point, this is 2024, this is 10 years ago. I was in my early 20s. I was a little nervous. I said, meet her. What you mean meet her? Meet her how? How we gonna meet? You gonna FaceTime her? What you mean meet her? He said, meet me out here tonight and I'll take you out there. Tonight? The water is already rocking and rolling. Tonight? What you mean? You trying to offer me up. You trying to put me down there. I didn't go. He knocked on my door. It was probably like maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I'm not going to sleep. I don't hear you. Sleep. I don't know nothing. I don't want to meet her. I don't want to meet her. But now I kind of feel like I should have went and met